Hi, I'm Lauren Valdez, and today I'm going to be reading you a statement of purpose from a student who is accepted to the Harvard Graduate School of Education with a focus on student affairs. There's a lot of really awesome stuff that she does in this essay, and as I read it, I'm going to be giving commentary on what works really well in this essay and how you can borrow some of those elements for your own essay. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. I also have office hours that happen over Zoom where you can join and get feedback on your essay. So let's jump into it. I'm a proud Latina, a product of a low-income single-parent household, and a graduate from UCLA. I say each identifier with intention, as there was a period of time when I did not feel it was possible to be all of these at once. My earliest memories are being pulled out of bed by my mom in the middle of the night so we could escape to a family member's house before my dad, a belligerent alcoholic, came home. It took years for my parents to divorce, as my mother was a stay-at-home mom without a formal education after high school, and my dad was the provider of the household. When my 4 siblings, mom, and I moved into a 2-bedroom apartment, our means of survival included child support and my mom's work as a caregiver. As my older siblings aged out of child support, it became less viable to afford our basic necessities. Although it may sound bleak, this is not the way I see my childhood. At the center of every challenge was love and support across my extended family. We never had to worry about having food on the table or potential eviction because we came together to support each other. Family is a strongly held value across Latinx cultures. This was proven to me when I began to work at the UCLA Downtown Labor Center. At the DLC, I connected with families, namely single mothers and their children, on a popular education program for day laborers. I was able to see myself, my siblings, and my mother in the work I was doing. This was when it clicked that my identities that I had considered vulnerable are an asset that allows me to connect with and inspire students and families from diverse backgrounds. Rather than seeing what the families were lacking due to various systemic injustices like precarious immigration statuses and grueling work conditions, I could directly relate to the ways they were resource-rich with family support. The Parent Worker Project was a weekly commitment where I mentored students and simultaneously educated their parents on self-advocacy, navigation of the K-12 system, and higher education. I saw how supportive single mothers, despite having little knowledge of the school system as recent immigrants, did everything they could to invest in their children's education. Parents rarely missed a session. I reflected on what a program like this might have done for my mother and us children. So in the first part of this essay, she does a really great job at tying together her personal history and a passion that's coming through on working with a certain type of population. You don't see her saying, I am passionate about working with single mothers and this community. She's showing us, not telling us, through the example where you feel what it's like to be there working with this group of people. So let's move on. Through all the adversity we face, 3 of us have obtained a bachelor's degree or more, and 2 are in college, breaking the cycle of poverty in our family. I am well aware that we are the exception to the norm. Being an exception and overcoming barriers is not good enough for me. Removing barriers altogether by having a career focused on college student retention is the way I'm going to push forward my pursuit of educational equity. A master's degree in higher education will allow me to continue to use my own experiences to support the success of communities in which disadvantages are the focus and strengths are overlooked. A commitment to increasing diversity is not just a catchy slogan or set of statistics for me. It is who I am. So this is a really great paragraph connecting where the student has come from to where she wants to go and why a master's degree in higher education is important to her. The summer before graduating, I worked as a new student advisor through the New Student and Transitions program at UCLA. Right away, I was overwhelmingly disheartened by the severe difference in academic preparedness between students from low-income, resource-lacking communities and those from the opposite. Students from the surrounding areas such as South Central, Linwood, and Compton were often coming in with drastically different access to opportunities like advanced placement or due enrollment coursework. Many of them had dreams of becoming doctors, but never had access to a single advanced math or science course. I would return to my dorm room and cry, knowing that the introductory classes in calculus and organic chemistry were weeder classes meant to filter out students who were not academically prepared. These students were set up to fail, or learn that their career path was not one they had prepared for in high school in comparison to their peers. It physically pained me to know that my students would likely become demoralized, pushed out of their desired career field, and maybe even drop out. I knew this was likely to happen as it was my own experience. Through my education classes, I was aware of the staggering difference in persistence rates between students of color and their white counterparts. As a result, I advised every student about the specific student groups and resources for finding support, something I was not educated about my freshman year. My advising sessions not only addressed their educational goals, but their deeply held fears and concerns in attending college. In almost every scenario, this led to sharing my own story of almost dropping out due to feeling inferior and explaining the steps I took in order to overcome this challenge. One of the most difficult parts for me as an incoming student was thinking I was alone in my feelings of inadequacy. When I shared these challenges with the first-year students, I often heard a sigh of relief and even an exchange of tears. So in this story, we're really hearing and feeling that this person is really connected with what they want to do. They want to go into advising because they have firsthand experience in having that lacking for themselves and wanting to do that now as their career. While working as a college advisor at Garden Grove High School, I kept the lessons from my UCLA advising experience in mind while I counseled students on potential majors and career paths. After only 3 months on the job, I found myself burning out from the inequalities I was seeing. I was the sole college access resource on a campus of over 2,000 students at one of the only Title I schools in the district, where the majority of students were from low income and recently immigrated families. The college eligible rate for the male students of color on campus was significantly lower than any other group. Motivating them to continue through higher education often felt impossible. After repeatedly being told no thank you by these students, I brought the resources they had shyly expressed interest in to our school. I contacted a professor from a local community college to teach a music production class during lunch. 20 originally disinterested male students showed up and submitted applications to college the very next day. My students were able to see that their interests could be pursued, nurtured, and valued in a school setting. Despite the challenges, I managed to actively support more than 90% of the senior class of 600 students in applying to at least one college and completing a financial aid application, the highest percentage for the school in the last 5 years. So this is a really great paragraph because it shows a continuation of the passion that this person has been exploring for many years. Like they experienced something personally as a student, having overcome certain barriers to be a student at UCLA. Then while at UCLA, they spent a summer advising in the freshman orientation program. And so they picked up some skills there. And then now they're doing an advisor role at a high school, which is in a setting that they're interested in working more in at a Title I school. And this person is showing the connection between how they've been setting themselves up now to continue in this career. Another really important thing is this last sentence here where they demonstrate their commitment and their success in something I call a humble brag, where you use a sentence like this to really show credibility. Like in this one sentence, this person supported 90% of the senior class of 600 students in applying to at least one college and completing financial aid. And that was the highest percentage for the school in the last 5 years. Like that really demonstrates that this person cares and that this person is capable and that this person was doing a better job than they had in the previous last 5 years, even though it was their first year on the job. So all of that is showing the reader that this person is really passionate and really credible in their experience that they've done. So all of that really shows that they are prepared to be in a program like this at Harvard. Even with all my work to get students to college, the idea of sending them off to universities where they will continue to face the same barriers they narrowly overcame in high school pushes me to strive for more. I have seen some of the most driven students disenroll from their colleges and universities after only one semester. This is the devastating reality that has led me to focus on retention and persistence of students from historically disadvantaged communities as my motivation to pursue a master's degree in higher education at Harvard. It is absolutely necessary that I be part of the solution to this nationwide issue, not just for myself, but for my past, present, and future students. So this is a really great transition paragraph where we're seeing this is where her career has been, and now this is where her career wants to go. And in your essays, you really want to have a thread like that around how you've been prepared to do this master's program, but also what's been lacking in your career or your experience so far that a master's degree is now the next step to elevate you for that next step in your career and what you want to do and achieve. Because if you're, just talking about how amazing your career is, the reader might think, well, this person kind of knows everything. Why do they need to come back to school? So you also are making an argument for not just your credibility and your experience, but why you need a master's degree, which is really important. While taking education classes as an undergraduate, I was able to directly apply what I was learning in the classroom to my work in labor organizing and facilitating youth workshops. However, since working full-time, I have felt an overwhelming urge to continue my educational practice and expand my research skills and exposure to innovative methods. This is why I need to pursue the Master's of Education in Higher Education at Harvard. Most of the program faculty are scholar practitioners, a goal I have begun to work towards. In particular, I'm excited for the chance to work directly with Assistant Professor Dr. Anthony A. Jack, who I had the distinct pleasure of hearing from a keynote speaking at our National College Advising Corps conference this past December. Dr. Jack's work specifically around students who are doubly disadvantaged not only speaks to my own experience of being a low-income student of color at an elite institution, but to those of the many students I have worked with in my professional experiences as well. I want my education to be centered in praxis while maintaining a foundation in research and innovation in the field. The Harvard Graduate School of Education, with its focus on developing scholar practitioners, is where I can truly see myself ascend to this goal. After expanding both my research and practice-based skills further in the higher education program, I hope to work in a university-run retention program for underrepresented students and eventually pursue an education-based doctorate. So that's the end here, and we can see that this person really transitions well to why Harvard, why she wants to go there, and how this master's program is the next step for the career she wants to have, being able to work at a university-run retention program to continue her passion and her work with working for underrepresented students, and how that is also on her path to getting a doctorate degree in education. So we can see that thread continues and is connected throughout the whole essay of what she's passionate about. It's also super specific about why she wants to go into doing this master's focus on student affairs. So she's not talking about everything in education, because that's a problem I sometimes see in people's essays, is they focus on too many things and then it's not really clear like why this program, why this specific degree. So you really want to make sure that you are getting specific and naming specific professors you want to study with and all that good stuff. And that's what really shows that you have done your homework, that you know why you want to do this program, and that you are demonstrating that you are a good fit for this program. So make sure you include all of those things in your essays.